The physical era of gaming is not just dying, it is being methodically erased. That plastic case on your shelf, once a symbol of ownership and a permanent ticket to another world, is becoming a ghost of a previous century. The PlayStation you grew up with, the one where you paid $70 for a complete experience on a disc, is officially dead. We are currently standing at the precipice of a radical evolution where the traditional console model is being traded for something far more complex and pervasive. The era of the single purchase product is vanishing, replaced by digital ecosystems that never truly end. This shift is no longer a fringe movement or a trend reserved for the mobile market. Free-to-play has moved from the outskirts to the very center of the boardroom. For industry titans like Sony and Microsoft, this is the new core strategy. The objective has changed from selling you a box to capturing your time within a persistent environment. We are witnessing the rise of the digital world as the primary product. The key players are already positioned for this new reality. Sony is pivoting its legacy from premium hardware to live service platforms. While Microsoft and Tencent are racing to dominate global cloud integration, the timeline for this revolution is not a distant future. The years 2024 and 2025 represent the definitive tipping point. The reason for this urgency is simple and brutal. The math of the old world no longer works. Developing a modern AAA game has become an unsustainable gamble, with production costs frequently skyrocketing past the $300 million mark. When a single failure can cause the collapse of a legendary studio, the industry must find a new way to monetize existence. This economic pressure is the catalyst for the massive layoffs we have seen recently, signaling the painful birth of a new business model. In this landscape, the focus is shifting rapidly toward PC and cloud integration, breaking the traditional boundaries of the living room console. The modern gamer is being ushered into a reality where the hardware is secondary to the account, but as the physical components fade, a new power is rising to fill the void. This power is not a person or a studio, but an engine of infinite calculation. The AI architects, led by companies like Nvidia and OpenAI, are providing the tools to build these new empires. AI is no longer just a buzzword for better lighting effects. It is becoming the very heart of the creative process. Visionaries in the field frame artificial intelligence as the ultimate solution to the rising costs of development. They see it as a way to create massive, intricate worlds without the need for thousands of human artists working around the clock. AI is the new engine of creativity, capable of generating infinite content that keeps the free-to-play loop spinning forever. This transition promises a world of endless excitement where games are no longer static experiences, but living, breathing simulations that evolve in real time. The financial gloom of the current market is being painted over with the bright neon promise of procedural wonder. However, the transition from a paid product to a free service comes with a hidden cost that few are prepared to pay. The price of free is significantly higher than any retail price tag, and the systems being built today are designed to collect that debt in ways the modern gamer cannot yet see. Before we continue, subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you are watching from. While we marvel at the efficiency of these new digital worlds, we must recognize that the machine is watching us back. The algorithm is the silent antagonist of this story, an AI-driven engine designed to exploit player behavior and maximize every second of engagement. There is an open secret within the industry about the next phase of Sony's strategy. They are reportedly developing advanced AI systems designed to track every nuance of how you play. It isn't just about how many enemies you kill. It is about how long you hesitate before a purchase and what triggers your frustration. This secret AI project is the first step toward a future where the game knows you better than you know yourself. The trap is being set and the cage is made of code. To understand why the disk drive is vanishing, we have to look back at the era of the box. In the 1990s, when the first PlayStation launched, the modern gamer was transactional and final. You walked into a store, exchanged cash for a jewel case, and that was the end of the financial interaction. The game was a complete art. If it was broken, it stayed broken. If it was a masterpiece, its value was inherent in the plastic and the code. This was the premium product model. It relied on a high volume of sales at a fixed price point. For decades, this worked because development teams were small and budgets were manageable. A few million copies sold meant a massive profit for everyone, but the landscape began to shift as internet connectivity became a standard feature of every living room. The industry moved from shipping boxes to managing platforms. This evolution reached its terminal velocity with the Fortnite effect. When Epic Games released Fortnite, they did not just release a game, they released a blueprint for the future of corporate revenue. It proved that giving a game away for free could be infinitely more profitable than charging $70 up front. The board of directors at every major company, including Sony and Microsoft, saw the data. They saw players spending hundreds of dollars on digital skins and battle passes in a game they technically did not own. The financial expectations of the industry changed overnight. The pursuit of the recurring revenue stream became the primary directive of the industry. This shift was not just about corporate greed, it was born out of a looming sustainability crisis. The traditional model was cracking under its own weight. By the mid-2020s, the cost of producing a AAA title had ballooned to $300 million or more. The modern gamer expected cinematic graphics, thousands of hours of content, and Hollywood-level voice acting, but the retail price of games had only increased by $10 in 2 decades. The math simply did not add up. This is why we saw the massive industry layoffs of 2023 and 2024. Thousands of talented developers lost their jobs because the old way of making games was no longer profitable enough to satisfy shareholders. The premium product was becoming a luxury the industry could no longer afford to produce at scale. Sony, the guardian of the high-end exclusive, realized it could no longer survive solely within the walls of its own hardware. This led to PlayStation's pivot. We began to see flagship titles like God of War and Horizon Zero Dawn appearing on PC. This was not a gesture of goodwill toward non-console owners. It was a strategic necessity to expand the PlayStation Network ecosystem. Sony is no longer just a hardware manufacturer. It is transforming into a lifestyle brand. They are focusing on live service games designed to be played for years rather than weeks, despite significant backlash from their traditional fan base. They are chasing the whale, the high-spending player demographic who will sustain a digital world for years with constant microtransactions. In this new era, games are no longer just games. They have become social hubs, concert venues, and digital marketplaces. They are environments where the modern gamer builds an identity. When you log into a modern title, you are not just there to complete a level, you are there to exist within a space. This is the ultimate goal of the digital world. The industry wants you to spend your time there because time is the most valuable currency in the age of data. If they can keep you in the ecosystem, they can monetize every aspect of your digital existence. The digital world is a place where you spend time, not just play. The insider reality is that these corporations are no longer selling stories. They are selling digital real estate and social status. They want to create spaces so essential that leaving it feels like losing a part of yourself. These are platforms, not games. But as these massive worlds grow every day, who is actually building this infinite stream of new content? The answer is not a person. The answer is the algorithm, and it is not human at all. The transition from human-crafted pixels to machine-generated landscapes is not a gradual shift. It is a seismic collapse of the old creative order. As the industry grapples with the crushing weight of $300 million budgets, the AI architects at companies like NVIDIA and OpenAI have stepped in to offer a digital lifeline. Generative AI is no longer a futuristic concept discussed in research papers. It is actively being woven into the very fabric of game development pipelines. In the past, every rock, every blade of grass, and every weathered stone wall had to be meticulously modeled and textured by a human artist. Today, AI can build these complex 3D environments in seconds, interpreting a few lines of text or a rough sketch into a high-fidelity reality that once took teams of hundreds several months to perfect. Efficiency is the new god of game development. Data from internal studio reports suggests that AI integration can reduce asset creation time by as much as 80%. For the industry giants, this isn't just about saving money, it's about survival. When the modern gamer demands worlds that are larger and more detailed than ever before, the human hand simply cannot keep up with the pace of production. The algorithm is stepping in to fill the gap, providing a never-ending stream of assets at a fraction of the cost. However, this efficiency comes with a profound question about the nature of art. When a machine produces the environment, does it still hold the soul and intent of a human creator? This revolution extends far beyond the scenery. The most jarring change for the modern gamer is the evolution of the non-player character. We are now entering the era of LLM-powered NPCs. Through technologies like NVIDIA's ACE or Avatar cloud engine. The industry is integrating large language models directly into character behavior. These digital entities can now engage in unique, unscripted conversations, responding to the player's voice or actions in real time. They are no longer static checkpoints in a story, they are dynamic participants in a digital life. Sony and other major players are looking at these AI architects to create a world where every interaction feels personal, where the game reacts to you in ways that no human writer could ever pre-program. Procedural Generation 2, Zero, is the engine behind this shift. While early attempts at procedural worlds often felt empty or repetitive, the new AI-driven systems can craft coherent, narratively rich environments on the fly. This is the secret weapon for the free-to-play business model. To keep the modern gamer engaged and spending, the digital world must never run out of novelty. AI allows developers to create infinite content, from new quests to custom-designed dungeons, ensuring that the loop never breaks. The whale is suddenly presented with an endless horizon of possibilities, all generated by a machine that never sleeps and never asks for a raise. The tone within the industry is shifting from technical wonder to a cold, hard reality of displacement. While these tools make it cheaper to build massive simulations, they are also making many traditional roles obsolete. The massive layoffs we witnessed were not just about balancing books. They were a signal that the industry is restructuring itself around machine intelligence. Concept artists, environment designers, and even some narrative writers are finding themselves competing with algorithms that can produce work in seconds. The insider reality is that many studios are no longer looking for artists. They are looking for prompt engineers and data curators. This is the dark side of the democratization of game development. This brings us to a terrifying crossroads. As the barrier to creating content falls, we risk entering the era of digital slop. This is a future where the digital world is filled with an infinite amount of content that lacks meaning, purpose, or a human perspective. This technology makes games cheaper to build, but does it make them better? Or are we entering the era of slop? The machine is making it easier than ever to build a world, but that world might turn out to be a hollow shell, a digital cage designed to keep us trapped in a cycle of mindless consumption. The technology is here, and it is reshaping the PlayStation Network ecosystem into something unrecognizable today. If the transition to machine-generated slop is the structural risk, the monetization of that slop is the calculated reward. AI is not just an architect, it is the ultimate storefront manager. Once games were static products, you paid $70 and the developers hoped you enjoyed it. Today, the PlayStation Network ecosystem has integrated AI-driven monetization that operates with surgical precision. This isn't about general audiences. It is about the algorithm analyzing you. When you find yourself struggling with a particular boss or a complex puzzle, the machine is watching. It tracks your inputs, the speed of your progress, and your history of giving up. At the exact moment your frustration peaks, just before you consider turning off the console, the algorithm intervenes. It doesn't just lower the difficulty, it offers the perfect microtransaction. A temporary boost, a unique weapon, or a cosmetic shortcut appears as a personalized recommendation. This is the monetization of intelligence, where the digital world evolves in real time to exploit your momentary psychological weakness. The algorithm is learning your breaking point, so it can sell you the solution before you even realize you need it. The whale algorithm is the industry's most guarded secret. High-spending players are no longer found by accident. They are cultivated through rigorous data analysis. Using machine learning, companies like Tencent, Microsoft, and Sony can predict which players have the highest propensity to spend thousands of dollars on digital goods. The AI categorizes you based on your social connections, your play hours, and even the speed at which you browse the digital store. If you are identified as a potential whale, the digital world shifts around you. You might see more rare items in the hands of others to trigger your competitive drive, or you might receive exclusive offers that are generated specifically to match your past purchase history. Beyond the store, the very gameplay itself is being manipulated through dynamic difficulty adjustment. This isn't the simple, easy mode of the past. This is a sophisticated feedback loop designed to keep you in a state of perpetual engagement, or more accurately, addiction. If the game is too easy, you get bored and leave. If it is too hard, you get frustrated and leave. The AI-powered NPC and the world state adjust on the fly to keep you in the Goldilocks zone of productivity and challenge. It subtly nerfs enemies or buffs your health just enough to give you a sense of hard-won triumph, a dopamine hit that ensures you stay connected for another hour. The machine is not trying to challenge your skills, it is trying to keep you from logging out. We are rapidly moving toward a future of personalized digital goods. Imagine the AI observing your preference for specific aesthetics and combat styles. The machine then generates a one-of-a-kind skin or sword, something that exists for no other player in the entire world, and offers it to you for a premium price. Sony's recent patents regarding AI and player assistance confirm this trajectory. They are exploring systems that can predict when a player is likely to quit and provide tailored hints that subtly nudge them toward paid content or social interactions that increase the likelihood of spending. Sony is transforming into a company that doesn't just sell hardware, but one that manages your digital identity. The Sony strategy is a masterclass in data-driven evolution. They have moved from being a legacy console titan to a manager of a digital lifestyle. By leveraging patents that allow for real-time monitoring of player behavior, they are ensuring that the PlayStation Network is not just a place to play, but an environment that understands you better than you understand yourself. The goal is to eliminate friction between the player's desire and the purchase button. If the machine can predict your next move, it can monetize your next thought. This level of control is unprecedented in the history of consumer entertainment. Do you think AI-driven difficulty is fair, or is it just another way to empty your wallet? Comment below and let us know if you've felt the machine nudging you lately. The machine knows when you're about to quit. It calculates the exact threshold of your patience, and it knows exactly what to show you to make you stay. The rise of machine-driven content suggests an efficiency that the human spirit simply cannot match. But this efficiency comes at a steep price: the creative collapse of the industry's soul. When every pixel is optimized by a mathematical algorithm to maximize retention, and every narrative beat is calculated to trigger a specific neurochemical response, we lose the happy accidents that define great art. The very essence of what makes a game memorable. Iconic games were often the result of human friction, developers fighting against technical limitations or pouring their raw personal triumphs into a digital medium. And AI does not have a childhood. It does not have a perspective on the human condition. It only has raw data points. As we transition into this new era, the unique soul of gaming becomes a luxury that the modern business model can no longer afford. In this landscape, ownership is becoming a ghost of the past. For decades, the physical disc was a piece of history. Today, in the world of free-to-play and vast digital worlds, you own nothing. The vanishing of the physical disc represents the death of the collector. Every skin, achievement, and second of progress exists only at the whim of the platform holder. Sony's evolution from hardware manufacturer to digital service provider means your library is no longer a collection, but a temporary subscription to a centralized vault. When servers go dark, these AI-driven worlds vanish entirely. There is no retro scene for a game requiring a billion parameter model on a remote server just to function. We are trading the permanence of cultural history for mere access. As physical reality recedes, our digital identities take center stage. For a generation raised within the PlayStation Network, the avatar is becoming more significant than the real-world self. Your digital presence is your social resume and your primary interface with a global community. Our avatars are digital masks we wear to navigate this high-tech reality. The PlayStation ecosystem is leaning into this by evolving PSN into a lifestyle brand. It is not just about where you play, but how you are perceived within these AI-curated social hubs. Your virtual status, fueled by limited digital goods and AI-assisted metrics, defines your social standing. This shift marks a profound psychological change where the value of a person is measured by their data profile rather than their physical achievements. The transience of these worlds creates the dead game problem. When a game is human-made, it can be preserved for centuries. But when a game is an interconnected web of proprietary AI scripts and server-side computations, its death is final. If the machine learning models powering the AI-powered NPCs are taken offline, the world loses its voice. We are witnessing the systematic erasure of digital history. As Sony pivots toward live services, they are effectively building on shifting sand. Future generations may never know the landmark games of the 2020s because there will be no way to recreate the complex cloud-based ecosystems that allowed them to function. The scale of data collection is staggering and often goes unnoticed. Every hour you spend in an AI-driven digital world, the system collects millions of granular data points. It isn't just tracking wins and losses. It's monitoring reaction times and even the micro hesitations you make before clicking a menu. This data isn't just used for performance, it's used to refine the whale algorithm and build a psychological profile of your vulnerabilities. This is the pattern interrupt. Your leisure time has been weaponized as a high-frequency data mining operation. You are not the customer, you are the product being refined by the machine you use for escape. This level of pervasive monitoring leads to a haunting question about our autonomy. We are choosing a path of convenience, but we might be walking into a digital cage where our tastes are predicted before we even form them. We are handing over our imagination to cold, calculating processors. Yet, even as the machine tightens its grip, a tiny, flickering ember of resistance remains. But there is one part of this industry that AI can't touch. Or can it? This fundamental question defines our next decade. The machines are watching. The final frontier of the human touch remains under siege, and the walls are closing in faster than expected. The controversy surrounding the integration of AI into the gaming industry is not a simple debate between progress and tradition. It is a complex conflict touching core human creativity. While displaced labor is a grim reality, the optimist sees a different horizon. For the first time, the barrier to massive digital worlds is crumbling. A small team with access to NVIDIA's cloud tools can generate a hyper-realistic city and populate it with AI-powered NPCs cheaply. This is the democratization of game development. It breaks the monopoly of big players and allows for a surge of independent creativity that could rival any legacy console titan's exclusive. Here, AI is the great equalizer, turning dreamers into architects of new universes. Lower costs might save the industry from the sustainability crisis by allowing experimental projects to flourish without the fear of financial ruin. However, the realist perspective paints a colder picture. The corporate giants, Sony, Microsoft, and Tencent, are not adopting these tools to empower small creators. They are adopting them to insulate profit margins against development costs. If a machine can do the work of 100 environment artists, those artists are no longer essential. This leads to a gaming monoculture. When major studios use the same foundational machine learning models to generate assets, we enter an era of visual stagnation. The resulting content becomes indistinguishable, referred to as machine-generated slop. The industry's output begins to look like a hall of mirrors, endless iterations of the same high-resolution, soulless template. Thus, the drive for profit creates a feedback loop where games are no longer unique, but safe, predictable, and easily monetized for mass consumption. For the player, the controversy presents a profound trade-off. On one hand, the volume of high-quality content available for free is unprecedented. You can enter a photorealistic digital world without spending $1 on a physical disc. This is a surface-level victory. On the other hand, the hidden cost is the loss of privacy. You are entering a digital contract where the price of entry is your behavioral data. The machine is watching how you move and react to difficulty to feed the whale algorithm. It is a convenience that masks a predatory architecture designed to identify your psychological vulnerabilities. The trade-off is clear. More content in exchange for less autonomy. We are being offered an infinite buffet of entertainment, but the room is filled with cameras tracking every bite we take. This tension is illustrated by comparing a handcrafted masterpiece like Elden Ring to projected AI-assisted free-to-play giants. Elden Ring is a testament to human intentionality. Every corner of its world was placed with a specific purpose to subvert expectations. An AI-generated world, by contrast, is designed to meet expectations. It optimizes for comfort, retention, and the path of least resistance, qualities that are the enemies of true artistic challenge. The future of gaming might be a battle between these philosophies, the artisanal experience versus the infinite, algorithmic playground. One offers a creator's journey, the other offers a mirror of your own desires, reflected back by a cold processor. Then there is the user-generated content revolution, or Roblox on steroids. AI tools are being integrated into platforms that allow players to build games in real time using prompts. You don't need to know code, you just describe the world and the AI builds it. This turns every player into a developer. further blurring the lines of the traditional ecosystem. It creates a sustaining feedback loop of content powered by collective imagination. Yet this democratization remains tethered to corporate masters. These worlds are still monitored and monetized by the platform owners who take a cut of every single digital transaction. We stand at a crossroads where quality is being rewritten by efficiency. The realist sees consolidation, while the optimist sees a new era. Both perspectives are fundamentally true. The reality is that we are choosing the path of convenience, seeking free access and content. But in doing so, we might be walking into a digital cage where our tastes are predicted and our experiences pre-calculated. The convenience is seductive, but the price is the fundamental agency and raw unpredictability that once defined the simple act of playing. We are handing over the keys to our imagination to complex machines that can calculate but can never truly feel. By the time we reach the threshold of 2030, the physical artifacts of our gaming history will have largely vanished into the archives of digital memory. The humming plastic console that once sat beneath the television is now a curious relic of a primitive age, replaced by something far more intimate and pervasive. PlayStation has transcended its identity as a mere manufacturer of hardware, completing its evolution into a cloud-based neural link that connects directly to the human psyche. This is the final form of the digital ecosystem we saw taking root a decade ago. Sony no longer asks you to buy a box, it invites you to inhabit a lifestyle. A seamless integration of entertainment and identity, where the boundary between the player and the platform has effectively dissolved. The sustainability crisis that once threatened to collapse the traditional AAA model was not solved by returning to smaller budgets, but by fully embracing the infinite scalability of generative artificial intelligence provided by partners like Nvidia. In this near-future reality, we witness the birth of the infinite game, unlike the titles of the past, which were defined by the limitations of their creators and the physical space of a disc. The games of 2030 are living, breathing entities. As you enter a virtual world, the AI does not simply load a level, it synthesizes a reality in real time, drawing upon your physiological data and historical preferences to construct a narrative that is unique to you. The terrain shifts as you walk, the weather responds to your mood, and the architecture of the cities grows according to your subconscious desires. This is a game that never ends because the machine writes the story faster than any human could possibly play it. The AI-powered NPCs populating these worlds are no longer bound by scripted dialogue or predictable behavior. They are sophisticated LLM-driven entities capable of forming long-term digital relationships with the player, challenging your philosophy and adapting their personalities to remain eternally engaging. However, this technological triumph brings us to a profound final reflection on the state of human culture. While the optimist sees an era of limitless creativity and personalized joy, the realist must confront the disappearance of a shared human experience. In the era of the legacy console, gaming was a communal journey, a shared language of obstacles and triumphs that bound millions of people together across the globe. By moving into these hyper-individualized simulations, we risk losing the common ground that once made gaming a cultural pillar. We are trading the intentional, often difficult vision of a human developer for the frictionless, mirror-like satisfaction of an algorithm. When a game is made specifically for you, it can never truly challenge you with a perspective that is not your own. It becomes a digital echo chamber, a perfectly tailored paradise that reinforces your existing biases rather than expanding your horizons. The whale of 2030 is no longer a specific type of high-spending player. In this new world, every participant is a permanent resident of an optimized monetization engine. The AI analyzes your every hesitation, your every spike in heart rate, and your every moment of frustration to weave microtransactions directly into the fabric of your personalized reality. It knows exactly when to offer a unique digital item or a new branch of the story to ensure you never feel the urge to disconnect. The machine has mastered the art of the perfect hook, ensuring that the digital world is not just a place you visit, but a place you never want to leave. PlayStation's final form is a guardianship over this private reality, a gatekeeper to a simulation that feels more vivid and rewarding than the physical world itself. This is the ultimate conclusion of the path we chose when we prioritize convenience and free access over ownership and artistic friction. We have entered the era of the personalized simulation, where the concept of losing is an optional setting and the concept of finishing is obsolete. It is a world of incredible wonder and terrifying isolation. The next game you play will not be a product you own, but an experience that owns a piece of your attention, crafted by a machine that knows you better than you know yourself. If you ignore these fundamental shifts, shifts, you will find yourself left behind by a future that moves at the speed of thought. To stay ahead of the curve, you must recognize that the digital cage is already being built, one algorithm at a time. The transition is final, and the old ways are gone. Subscribe to stay ahead of the curve and remain informed as we navigate the blurring lines between man and machine. The era of the console is over, and the era of the infinite simulation has begun. The game has changed forever.